Hi there. Welcome to Life Between Coasts, the podcast where we dive into our personal journeys connected through synchronicity. So grab your coffee, light a candle, and let's begin. I'm your host, Leah, and we're glad you're here. Today, we're going to sit down with, I'm going to say a blast from the past. She's known me my entire life. Her name is Kelly. She is actually my cousin. And to bring her into the story, I want to talk a little bit about relationships and her upbringing, because even though we were raised by mothers that were sisters, households are definitely different in different times. And the fact that you are a whole decade older than I am.
That's right.
You old lady.
Yeah, I know. You think you're old.
But one of the stories that I did tell early on was about you being a surrogate for my children. I didn't have to pay for them, but it did give me the opportunity to see what child rearing was, even though that may not have been my path to have kids, even though everybody thought I was probably going to have.
You were wonderful, my kid.
Yeah.
Exceptional.
Have a brood of children. And I've always joked, of course, that if I did have a brood of children, they'd be much like the Von Trapp family, and I'd blow a whistle and they'd line up by height and age and salute me.
They probably would.
So
there's no joke in there, honey.
So let's talk a little bit about you. Now talk about your family structure. Mom, dad, brothers.
I had mother and father, 2 brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the middle child. So I had the big bro and the little bro.
Mm-hmm.
The little bro, I always had him under my wing. I felt like I was always the one that something happened at school, or he needed something at school, or when he jumped off the swings and broke both his wrists, I had be the one to carry his lunch and deliver it to him and his books and this and that. I think I was in 5th grade or something.
Okay.
But I've just always looked out for him. My older brother and I, we just always got along. He was a pest a lot, and I was a pest back. But and he's the only one that's still with me. To say I lost my mom and my dad, and my big, huge teddy bear, Scotty Boy, my little brother, to suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And my oldest brother, I live in Otter Lake, Michigan, and he lives up there by me. I don't see him a whole lot, but we keep in touch.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do see each other, it's like, that you never missed a beat.
Yes.
So
the way it should be.
Right. So, and then the big family we had.
Yes.
Your side.
Yes. So there was one talking about family. So sisters. So there was 8 girls.
Yeah.
And
or grandpa.
Yes. He was the only man of the home and I think grandma, she had babies from 1937 to 1963, I think it was. It was that span of time when she had all 8.
Can you imagine?
Would you? I wouldn't do it. I just, during that period of time, no. But each one definitely had individual talents and personalities, and, each fit into their own different style and way that they were. How was your mom?
My mom, I believe, was the glue to the family. She always organized all the get-togethers and made sure everybody was together. Always took care of everybody. And I think that everybody looked up to her to be that person. So I think she felt she had to be that person. But I know that she loved her sisters. Just
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were all always together. Always, which brought the cousins and I and my 2 brothers together all the time. All the time we were together when we were younger.
Right, because there's several cousins that were born within that same time frame that you were. So if you think about it, again, same thing. We had aunts that were being born that were younger than cousins, the first cousin that was born, and they were in elementary school together. And I remember the one Aunt Jenny, specifically demanding that Stephen call her aunt in like first grade. Yeah. I am your aunt, even though you're older than I am, and we're in elementary school together. You call me Aunt Jenny.
Yeah, I remember that story now.
So it's just like, it's funny, but that's when you have a big family, those things happen.
Yeah, we had a huge family with lots of great memories.
Mm-hmm.
I don't ever remember anything being not great.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the fact that we lost little David at a young age. And I think that was my first real, and I don't think I realized it because I was a young teen, but I had taken care of you and David for a long time. It seemed like every weekend I was at your house. And so when David passed, I don't think I really took it in. I think it sat somewhere inside of me. And that started my my grieving of I've had lost a lot of people in my life close to me. And I don't know, I just sometimes it's hard for me to believe all the losses I've had and how I've went through what I went through and have gotten to where I am today. As you.
Do you have a trust in a higher being that guides you?
Oh, yes.
Is that?
Definitely. God is everything. I mean, I'm kind of obsessed as far as, I think it's an OCD type of thing, but I'm kind of obsessed with praying and, talking to him. And, I listen to Christian music. I've grown up Catholic, as you know. But yes, definitely. Yeah, he's my best friend.
Yeah. I know. I find myself, like I said, I've opened myself up into multiple degrees of what spirituality is and faith and that. And I, like I said, I've always said, I believe that there is a higher power, but I believe that there's other things out there that guide us as well, and including the spirits, and we know that they're always around us playing games and mine specifically, like electrical things, always messing with lights and equipment and such. I think we did have a spell around here for a bit when a couple things kept going wrong. I think they were just messing around saying, yeah, we're here. We're just messing with you, just to make sure that you know it.
That's a higher, or that's a known thing with electronics for spirits to contact you, correct?
Yeah. And I think that's something. Now, so you went through high school. You actually graduated from Oxford.
Yes, 1987.
Tell me about, 1987, the 80s. To grow up as a high schooler in the 80s.
It was great.
Yeah. Tell me about your crazy antics.
It was fun. In high school there was, the jocks, the popular girls, the nerds, the this, the that. Yeah. And then there was me and Jackie.
And tell us about Jackie.
Jackie's my lifelong best friend.
Yes.
We went to elementary school together. She wasn't very nice in elementary school.
Okay.
She was trying to be one of those popular girls, and she wasn't very nice.
Oh, she was a mean girl.
Yeah. And I tell her that all the time. But throughout high school, we became best friends. And we've been together and apart for this whole span of our lives. And every time we're together, it's right back to Jack and Cal.
Yeah.
I just had a couple hours with her a couple weeks ago, and it's the best couple hours I've had since the last time I saw her. She's just one of those, we just get each other.
What are some of the antics that you had gotten into?
God.
Well, let me bring one up. Let's call it the 3-week spring break. So you drive down to Florida in high school, your senior year, and
we flew.
Oh, you flew. Oh, you flew
with $70 each.
Okay, wait, hold on. So you had $70 in your pocket. You fly to Daytona Beach, I assume?
No, we were Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale. Wow. Okay, so Southern Florida, spring break, and you were there for 3 weeks?
21 days.
Yeah, 3 weeks. And how did you pull that off on $70?
Well, a friend of the family was down there. She lived down there, and we stayed with her.
Okay.
Her name was Dixie.
Okay.
And we ate a lot of ramen noodles, macaroni and cheese.
Right.
We became friends with people that fed us and provided drinks for us.
Okay.
But we made it, and it was the best time ever.
Spring break's only 7 days.
Yeah. I don't know how we pulled it off either. I really honestly don't. But we did. And that kind of explains her and I.
Yes.
So I remember our senior year, we would she'd pick me up and we'd get to school and we'd walk in and we'd look at each other. We're like,
not today.
We'd walk back out the door. So yeah. We did a lot of teenage drinking party stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We just always had fun together.
Mm-hmm.
We got in a fist fight one time because my keys were locked in my car, and she was yelling at me and screaming at me to get the keys out of the car or let her in the car. Mm-hmm. So I kept saying, they're locked in the car. What do you want me to do? I'm going to try to get somebody to get through the sunroof to, well, we ended up fighting. Jeez. I had a nice dinger on my eye, and she had a bloody nose.
Okay.
Well, before we went out, I was wearing one of her shirts, and she said, "Don't get anything on that shirt."
Oh, goodness.
So her blood from me punching her was all down her.
Oh, no. Oh, that's...
So we finally got in the car and just laughed it off. On the way home, we stopped at a McDonald's parking lot because we had to pee. So we get out, and we're peeing in the parking lot. Blood all over me. I got a shiner by now, and she's got blood all over her. And we look over, and there's a police car.
Oh, jeez.
How we got out of that situation, he didn't speak to us, nothing. I have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
Grace of God. Because it was not a good-looking situation, besides going to the bathroom in public.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But you did get away with a lot more back in those days.
I think so.
Yeah, definitely. But we just did a bunch of stupid stuff, fun stuff that, teenagers do.
So then you shift, you graduate from high school, and you're out on the prowl looking for a husband.
So I wasn't. I wasn't out on the prowl.
I'm just teasing you.
We were
but you were an au pair, let's call it. You were a live-in nanny for
Aunt Jenny.
But that actually has taken on not just, for your own children, but you've continued to do that.
Mm-hmm.
For
after.
I'm
still,
because you're a caregiver. That's what you do.
I am a caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I do. I take care of everybody.
Right.
I get a lot of slack for it.
Yeah.
But that's what I do.
Right.
And so I was not on the prowl.
Okay.
May have been. I don't know. Might have been me on the dance floor stripping my belt off, going like this.
It could have been.
That guided me, my husband.
It could have been.
So I met this guy. He kept trying to talk to me. Mm-hmm. And he's just all these big muscle guys. And, well, I was just like, eh. And I kept avoiding him. And then by the end of the night, he said, "Can I have your phone number?" Me not interested, I gave him my phone number.
Mm-hmm.
So he called me for about a month. I never knew his last name. I never knew his phone number.
Uh-huh.
None of that. And then I did end up finding out his last name, but I still didn't have his phone number. And he said, "All right, well, I guess I won't be calling you anymore." I'm like, "Okay, it's cool." A couple days went by, and I'm like, I think I really like this guy. And so I ended up calling him.
Mm-hmm.
And his mother answered.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "Joey, there's a girl on the phone for you." And the rest, we hit it off.
Yeah.
And we had a struggle at the beginning of our marriage. At the age of 21, my firstborn We had a little girl, Elizabeth, as you know. And she was stillborn at 38 weeks. And I took it really hard, obviously. Joe was upset too, and going through his part of the, I guess, loss, grief, and all that. But it wasn't. We didn't really talk about it or anything. He wasn't like that, and I just remember I bought a doll that I would hold. I remember crawling in her crib and just crying, and it was one of those things, and I was all to myself. And he dealt with it in his own way, so that was our struggle there. But we got pregnant right away, and we had Joey. And I had Elizabeth October 1990, October 14th, 1990. And I had Joey October 8th, 91. So it was back to back.
Yep.
And so that was a great blessing. All of my kids are a great blessing.
And there's four.
Yes.
4.
We have Joey, Dominic, Gabby, and Angelo. As you know, because...
Yes. I at least had 3.
Right.
Because like I said, and I said that the universe, again, going back to the universe, gave me the opportunity to know what it was like to raise kids, to take care of them, to see through the different stages. That could be. But I remember, just quick story, a little flashback about, I would say this is probably about 20 years ago. I was probably about 26, 7, somewhere in there. And I think I came out to your house, and Angelo was still fairly young. And I took him to the store, and we got a bunch of ice cream and things to make to do like an ice cream social. And the older kids were, bantering about, and they were inside the house with us. And I had them doing dishes because we needed spoons and dishes and things. And you walked into the kitchen, you kind of like looked at me and looked at them, kind of pointed, and just walked the other way. And like, how did you get my kids to do this?
Exactly. I was just going to say that.
And that was, that was just the way I was. It's like, do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you twice, And then I remember you told me the next day, you said the kids asked you, Mom, when did Leah get so mean? And you said, oh, honey, Leah's always been mean. You just were too young to realize it.
That's right.
And it's not that I'm mean.
No,
it was just my mom was strict.
Yes.
And I think everybody in the family knew that she was a little bit more strict.
She was strict, and I was not strict whatsoever. So you being in their life was a good thing.
Probably a very good
Joe tried to be strict, but
unfortunately, his schedule just didn't work. Right. So there was a lot of like miscommunications, it seemed, and so let's talk a little bit about that. So I mean, unfortunately, the marriage did come to an end, and you seem to still be somewhat friendly, though.
We are.
I mean, you have your 4 kids, you have your grandbaby. Yeah. I mean, how many kids?
We have 6 grandbabies
from these 4 brilliant children. And so, like I said, you still have a good relationship with him. It's just you're not married and living under the same roof with him.
Right.
You have moved on and remarried. I don't keep up with him, so I can't tell you what about his life.
Right.
But
so when Angelo was born in 1997, I met some friends. And unfortunately, and I'm not blaming this on them whatsoever, they were drinkers and smokers. And I became a drinker and a smoker as well with 4 young children. And I think at that point, Joe didn't, because that wasn't me. So it was very hard on him for me slacking on other things and going to hang out with friends. I would take Angelo with me. I was in the neighborhood. I would take Angelo with me, and the other ones would be at home and this and that. But long story short, I lost my mother when I was 35. And she was my age now. She had colon cancer like grandpa. And that played a real harsh role on me. As it is, I had to look after my brothers now, look after my father, and a family, a husband. It was a lot. And I got stuck in that trap. And it was 1997 to 2015. And I was an alcoholic. I allowed my kids to drink, have their friends at the house, because I was watching over them, making sure they were safe, which they were at my house, but they were not doing, I was not letting them do the right things. And I don't know whether or not I regret that, because they've turned out to be wonderful kids, and thank the dear Lord they're not alcoholics. And it was just ugly. It was ugly. I was unhappy. And I think things that happened to me in my younger years, and the deaths and stuff, I never went to get help for it. And so I think that, and then being unhappy in my marriage, and I can't say that it was because of Joe or this or that. I don't know. I was unhappy.
You were just unhappy at your situation at that time. And
right.
So your resolve was to try to escape.
Yes.
And unfortunately, the alcohol was the escape mechanism. And that
it caused lots of problems. I said and did things that, I never would have said or did if I wasn't drinking. But I generally was a happy drunk. And unfortunately, my kids would say, "Oh, just wait till she has a beer or two, then ask her." So that kind of hurts the heart, But my oldest son, Joey, decided to sign up for the Army. And that just threw me for a loop. After having a daughter that was stillborn, my kids were my everything. I did everything I could, thought possible, to protect them and keep them around and that. So that was really hard on me. Very, extremely hard on me.
That he was willing to give his life for the country?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And from there I started to spiral really bad. And then Dominic, the second oldest, he went to see the recruiter, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh. And he came back and he said, "Mom, hell if I'm missing my Michigan games." So it wasn't for him, thanks to during that.
Oh, no.
But then Angelo, the youngest, he ended up going into the Army as well.
Right.
So having the kids away from me, and a lot of people don't understand where I come from, losing a child, a physical child that I gave birth to, that I held, that I named, that I put in the ground.
Yes.
How protective I was of my kids, and scared that something was going to happen to them. And, because if it can happen once, right? Nobody knows.
Right.
So I kind of made a mess of myself.
What was your rock bottom point?
With alcohol?
Yeah. Where did you hit?
It was between the summer of 2014 and, or ironically, August 5th. Well, I'd say August 4th was the night that it happened, but I was sober as of August 5th, 2015. I had went home. I'd been at my girlfriend's house, and her husband, and we were just sitting around drinking and talking, and just, I was in a mood, I guess. And I had gone home, and I thought to myself, well, I'm just going to take this bottle of Prozac. And I didn't want to die.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted attention, I guess, and help.
Mm-hmm.
So I told my youngest son, Angelo, that I took the pills. And so him and my daughter called the ambulance, and they came, and I woke up the next day in the hospital, and they were trying to find a spot for me for rehab, which I had tried numerous times before to get to get help.
Right.
But insurance would never cover it, so it was not an option. And so I woke up in the hospital, and they had told me that they were looking for a place. They spoke to my husband, and he said she's not coming home. And I was mad at him for that. In hindsight, I'm very thankful for him that he did that.
Right.
So they finally found a spot and transferred me. I remember riding in an ambulance to this rehab that I was going to.
Right.
And no clue what. At that point, I didn't believe I belonged anywhere. I was fine.
Right.
You know, I knew I wasn't fine, but I was fine.
Right.
So they take me in, and I'm in all these glass windows in this room for hours on end. And they finally took me to the psychiatrist to talk to the psychiatrist. And then she talked to my husband at that time and said, you know, I think she could really benefit from being here. And then he had to talk to me. And I was mad. I didn't want to stay. I'm like, I don't belong here. I mean, there was drugged out people and everything walking around. I'm like, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. And long story short, I could have walked out, but I made the decision to stay. And I just didn't know why I was there, because I didn't think I was that bad off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I figured out I was. No matter what addiction somebody has, I belong there.
Mm-hmm.
And that first rehab that I went to I had seen a psychiatrist and counselors, and we did therapy and art therapy, and it was very relaxing and personal.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. And I figured, wow, this is what I need. Well, after a certain time, either you go home or you go on. And my psychiatrist had said, you know, I don't think you should go home. I think you need more time to be able to get through this. I think if you go home at this point, you're going to drink again.
Yeah.
So I went to another rehab. This rehab, whew, it's like rehab, like what,
you
know, the bad stories you hear. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
And I just kept telling myself every day, get through this. And I just kept to myself.
Yeah.
I started exercising. They had a track outside, so I'd walk every day. And I could have walked home. It was probably 5 miles from my house. And I could have walked home at any time, but I didn't. I wanted to stay and complete. And I did. I had 28 days of rehab. And I went home. My daughter picked me up in her new car. And I thought to I had went through the therapy and stuff, and I said, I need to go home and try to fix my marriage. You know, I was the problem and this and that. Well, and once I got home, I realized that wasn't the whole problem. And a lot of it was the mother-in-law. He was the youngest out of he had 3 older sisters, and he was the youngest, and he was Italian, and in Verge, you know how Verge was. Yes.
Well, and that, and just to kind of fill the listeners in a little bit. So Verge is she's passed, correct? But Joe's mother, and however lovely that she may have been. I mean, she was very quirky, let's just say.
Well, she hated me from the beginning,
but she was very, very mean towards you and acted very nasty towards you from the very beginning when Joe first brought you in. In fact, they didn't even go to your wedding.
Yes.
Because they disapproved of the marriage because, again, he was the baby. You weren't Italian.
And I was just a poor girl from Oxford.
Yes.
But she ended up loving me.
Mm-hmm.
When I decided to give papers to Joe to divorce, she hated me again then.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But she's gonna, just like you protect your kids, she's gonna protect
right,
her.
and I understand that.
That mother, I mean, I always use the saying, even Jeffrey Dahmer's mother loved him. Right. Yeah, I mean, you have to think about it that way.
But she, after the divorce, she, had nothing good to say about me. And then she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Mm-hmm. And a couple weeks before she died, she wanted to see me. So I went over there and we talked and we, made a few things, and she told me she loved me. And there was a point that she did tell me that I was better than her daughters, like a better daughter than her own daughters and different things like that. But I understand now that she was just protecting her kid. Mm-hmm. And I think deep down she knew that I was good for him. So then once I was leaving, then...
And I think that there was a lot. You were the main caregiver. His schedule made it difficult.
Very hard.
He worked, he would leave the house at 2:00 in the morning or something.
Midnight, usually.
And not come home until 2:00 in the afternoon. Maybe that's
and then sleep. And this. So it was
So it was a very different situation, but he was the provider. Right. So you were the caretaker. He was the provider. But there was a lot that was lost with your relationship in the middle because you lost the two of you together.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the first struggle that you had with Elizabeth, the loss of Elizabeth, not being dealt with, or being dealt with in two different ways, and not together, that was something that would have probably strengthened that foundation,
right?
Instead of feeling alone during that period.
Yeah.
And you just have to think about that. So it's not, it's not anyone's fault things didn't work out.
No.
I mean, the result of it is that you have 4 beautiful children and 6 grandchildren.
And we're still civil with each other.
And you're still civil with each other. So now
we weren't, in the end, weren't civil, but
it was probably a little messy, I could imagine.
It was, it wasn't pleasant on both sides.
But
so we got to our, we got divorced. And then I've just thanked God. I mean, it just breaks my heart when I think about my alcoholism with the kids and what I put them through. Mm-hmm. And I could have lost them. They could have said, bye, Mom, good luck, and they just came back stronger. And that's the happiest thing in my life, that I have that. Of course, people always have regrets. I have regrets of certain things, but
you just have to release those,
right.
You can't, I always say, I've been a disappointment to others. I've been a disappointment to myself, but we're human.
Right. Exactly.
We are going to have those bumps and bruises, and we're going to make the wrong decisions. But if we can make the right decisions to get ourselves back on the right path, then that's all that's needed.
Right. Joey wanted me to tell you the story about at the end of, and it's funny now, but it was not by any means funny then. But how I was at my friend's house and Joe came to pick me up, and he was obviously he was livid because I was over there drinking and whatnot.
Right.
So we had a white van. Remember the white van?
Mm-hmm.
And so he wouldn't let me sit up front. He threw me in the back. He didn't throw me in the back. He told me to get in the back.
Right.
So we were almost home, and for some reason, I decided I was going to jump out that side door. So we were probably going about 40 maybe. And I opened up that door and jumped out.
Oh my gosh.
And I was perfectly fine. Cars stopped. Joe just, hurry up and got me back in and whatever. And I don't remember anything after that.
Almost like you were acting as if you were being kidnapped. Oh, sorry.
I don't think
probably that.
I don't think it was that.
But that's what probably people are thinking is you're driving a van at 40 miles an hour.
He's like, say she's just drunk.
She's just drunk. That's all.
But those are the kind of things that they have humor in the sadness of what it was.
Right, because it's a struggle for them.
And they always used to say, Mom, do you want to see your grandkids someday? Because if you keep this up, you're not going to see your grandkids.
Yeah.
And
so they used tough love right back to you, and they tried to use some reverse psychology. How do you think it's affected them now in their adult lives? Because we're knocking on the door at 10 years.
Tuesday will be 10 years.
Yes, so 2 days off of 10 years of sober. Congratulations. That's something to be extremely proud of.
I remember when I was 1 month and I'm like, I can't wait to be 6 months sober. I mean, there's been times that, I've wanted to drink. The 1 month after I was sober, I had a lifetime teddy bear. He committed suicide. And he was going through addiction at that point too.
Right. And because you were going through addiction, you were not in any shape or form to help him.
I had tried
to the best of your ability.
Right. So he was just too far gone. Poor kid had a lot of trauma in his life. So, so I had to endure my father's death sober, which is still hard. But I was just thinking this morning, I haven't seen bluebirds this year. Maybe he told me to let go, to not be so focused on his dying and this and that. The story behind that is when my father was dying, 2021, I was laying with him and I told him, I said, Dad, you gotta come back, right?
Yeah.
You gotta let me know you made it, that you're good, And I said, I want a bluebird, not a
blue jay,
not a blue jay, not a cardinal that everybody else gets, because I've only seen a bluebird twice in my life.
Right.
And so I said, I want you to let me know. So the next morning, kids and I and Chuck were sitting at the kitchen table, and I looked out and there was bluebird in the tree. And I just lost it. But that's why I have this bluebird tattoo for my dad. But this year I haven't seen them, so I'm thinking to myself that he's saying, Tweedledee,
Yeah.
You're good.
I think you're good. I think, because and truth be told, I didn't keep up with people, when my mom died, same year, 7 months apart. I mean, your mom passed 3 weeks later. My mom was diagnosed 7 months later. She was gone. So you're going through all of that and that struggle and such. And then, so I just don't think, what's the best way of explaining it? You just pull back from the family and everyone around a funeral. Oh, we'll be there for you. We'll call you. We'll do anything for you. But 1 week passes and then everyone's gone. And you don't mean to be that way, but it's just the way people are. They want to help, but they don't know how to help. Right. And sometimes their lives are just too busy and chaotic to be able to help. Right. So you just deflect and you say, I've got this. Don't worry.
That's why I think that I'm okay. I can be alone. At any time I can be alone and I'm just fine. I don't have to have somebody around me all the time or whatever. I got used to dealing with things on my own, I guess. So, yeah.
But the drinking, that's dealing with things on your own and then resorting to drinking. And there is influence because, again, I've said it, the sum of 5 people, you're the sum of the 5 people you associate. That was out of your character. You weren't a drinker or a smoker, but you started to associate with people just out of boredom. They were friendly. You were good, and so you start hanging out. And next thing you know, you're drinking and smoking. And now you have a massive addiction.
Yeah.
And it made you feel better. So that was what you liked. And that's what you were attracted to.
I would be, I just won't drink tomorrow. I just want to drink tomorrow.
Yeah.
get sick.
It just never,
that. So the bottom line is, I did the cry out for help with the Prozac. I don't think it was going to do anything to me anyways. Made me sleep for a long time.
I still had to pump your stomach. Still had to get it out of you.
Yeah. But I'm very thankful that, Joe stepped in when I didn't want him to. Maybe in hindsight I did, I guess. But
well, you wanted your husband to step up, and that's what he did. But it was too late to save the relationship at that point. But that's okay.
I wanted to, but
there's an end of a chapter.
Right. Yeah, life, I say everything happens for a reason. It is what it is. I've always been that kind of person.
Yeah.
So but here I am, married almost 5 years. November 1st we'll be together 6 years, married 5.
Okay.
And I got my beautiful children and grandchildren, and I have a good job. Well, it's not good paying, but it's a good job.
That's okay.
Work at a daycare, and I take care of infants, which is my calling. I'm a caregiver. They get me and I get them,
And now when you and Chuck met, so this is your second husband, what was different? What were you seeking?
At that point, because this was like 4 years, I think 4 years after my divorce with Joe, I was fine being alone. Totally fine. I had my kids. I didn't need nothing else. My dad in 2019 got diagnosed with kidney failure, and he had to go on to dialysis, and it was tough. I still can smell when you walked in the dialysis center. But for some reason, he wasn't getting any worse. They kept telling me he was going to get worse. Well, he decided to quit dialysis, and he lived a year and a half after that. They told him he had a week to a month to live. So he defied. I mean, he's kept always saying, I just hope I wake up dead tomorrow. I'm like, Dad, how are you going to wake up if you're dead? So that was his thing.
That's my mister. That's his mother. I mean, at 91, or whatever. I always forget how old she was when she passed. But she, she at that age was saying, "I pray for an early death." It's like, hey, you missed that one,
right? Exactly. So I think when I had start seeing Chuck, we went to high school together. So I graduated with sister. And we talked on Facebook, and, we were friends, kept up with each other all these years. So I decided one Friday night to go see him. And we just hit it off. And I think I was getting that comfort and that attention. I don't know what it was, but I was in a relationship, and it felt good.
Right.
And it helped me with my dad. And to this day, he knows how important my dad was to me. I mean, I had to take care of him for 17 years after my mom. I'm not saying had to take care of him. I chose to take care of him.
You were his companion. Yeah. Just like I was,
Your dad.
And my dad did have companions. Your dad basically became a hermit. That's all I can say. I mean, because he really didn't leave his house, because he was retired, and he didn't go out and try to socialize. At least my dad dated other people.
Right.
It was difficult in the beginning, it's like, you're never going to be, like, at least I wasn't a child. Like, you're never going to be my mom. No. But it's still weird to see your parent with somebody else, when you're not used to that. And my mom did prepare me and said, your dad can't be alone. He needs a companion.
I remember you telling me.
So I was okay with that. And hers was, don't be a bee. That's what was hers, because she knew how I was. But that, at least helped me prep for that. At least he had a companion. But, even I think it was 2016 is when he lost his last, his cat. Cat was who he was dating, had been dating for probably 10 years or 8 years at either way. And she passed away unexpectedly. And after that, then he was by himself. And so that was the daily 2-3 times a day phone calls, and then trying to see him as much as possible. And but it's, you turn into kind of the parent, but then the caregiver, and then everything else, so
it was tough. It still is tough sometimes. I mean, he was a character, as you know.
Yes.
But he left great memories for my kids.
Yeah.
Great memories.
He was a goofball. I mean, I remember it, and this is just a really funny little snippet of him. I remember being at the Sagebrush Cantina in Lake Orion, and there was probably 10 of us around a table. I remember your mom, my mom was there, dad, and everything. We're all like eating and everything. And it was the end, and there was like the 22-ounce beers or something. Your dad had one, and somehow his teeth ended up at the bottom of that glass. And I was just like, but then, going back to those teeth, that's what made him late to your own mother's funeral, because he forgot his teeth, and he had to turn around and go back home and get them. So, I mean, he was a character.
He was definitely a character.
But we love Uncle Bob, and always did. And, it's just, I can't drive down Baldwin without waving at the house and saying hi, and that's how it is.
I had some closure with it was hard for me to go through the house and all the things.
Yeah.
But the people that bought the house, they invited me over to they had a summer party last year.
Okay.
So they invited me to the house, and they showed me everything they did to it, and this and that, and it was I was okay with it.
Good.
Well,
because it's being filled with love and happiness.
Right.
And you remember all your memories there, but now they're reintroducing all those new memories.
Yeah. So that helped me a lot, I believe.
That's good. And now when you remarried, so Chuck was there, helped you through the process. What attracted you to him? Like, what was it that was it just having a solid foundation? Was it somebody that, because you'd known him throughout your life at different parts of time, that he just was somebody familiar, somebody you could talk to? Was there a closeness there?
He was easy to talk to, like a best friend kind of thing, and then,
and it just turned more romantic, and like the flowers, just sending you random flowers. It's always nice to receive.
You know how he asked me to marry him? I came over to his house in Ortonville, and I was sitting on the couch, and he was sitting over here, and he goes, "How'd you like to marry an old schmuck like me?" And obviously I said yes.
Ah, lovely.
So now we have 2 dogs.
Yes.
Fred and Charlie, Havanese. And then we have 12 chickens.
12 chickens. Lovely. And lots of deer roaming in the backyard, coming in.
Deer, rabbit, this, that, raccoons, possums. We have everything. We live in Otter Lake, and it's on both sides of our house. We have wetlands and then woods behind that. So we're secluded.
Nice.
And
peaceful.
Yeah, it's very peaceful.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. That's where I am now.
Well, perfect. So 10 years sober. We have children that are thriving.
Oh, they're
amazingly good things. We have lots of grandbabies, 6 grandbabies, and hopefully more will be in the mix. We just have to get Dominic.
Yeah,
we got to get him in the mix there.
Let me tell you, he's the best uncle that kids could ever have.
Oh, I bet he is. He's a hoot. I would love to have him on here. So we're going to reach out and try to get him.
Yeah.
Just from his perspective, because he's the odd one out. It's funny. He took on, I think, a little bit more from the Gimnuski angle than he still has some of the Italian features, but it's funny because he's pick the one that's different out of 4.
He's more like me.
He takes on from our side of the family more so than Joe's side of the family. So.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he has the more of a look of my side of the family. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, they all are.
They all are. And I'm not just saying that because I'm their mother. They are. And my grandchildren, whoa.
Yes. Oh, they're brilliant. Well, it's funny too because Angelo's firstborn, River, actually looks like little David.
Yes.
Which is really interesting that came through, because you can see the different pictures.
I
and
couldn't
you're like,
believe when I saw that picture. I'm like, oh my God, he looks like little David.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's my only blue-eyed grandchild.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely full of life, that little one.
Mm-hmm.
They're just... I never knew what it was like to be a grandma when somebody would say, oh, you just wait till you're a grandma. I'm like, yeah, what?
Well, you get to spoil them, love them, do everything else, and then hand them back, and they get to go home.
It's a different kind of love. You can't explain it. You have to experience it, and it's just amazing, just amazing. I'm further away from them now. I would like to see them more, but hopefully can in the future. But yeah, it's they're just wonderful, and the kids, Joey, Dominic, Gabrielle, and Angelo, they are like this. Joey and Angelo being in the army butt heads a little bit too much, but they're all so close.
Similar personalities, though.
Yes,
very strong.
Yeah, and
it's the oldest brother versus the youngest brother, so there's going to be a little bit of a rivalry there as well.
Exactly. But they are the best of friends, and it just makes my heart happy. I mean, I just think so much could have went wrong with them, and it didn't. When you ask your higher being or God or for prayers, that was a prayer that was answered. Yeah, definitely. I'm beyond blessed.
Yes, I think so. And I think that it's good to see that you can go and be on top, and you can fall, and you can be at your bottom, but you can still come back from that.
Yes.
and thrive and find happiness and find your purpose, taking care of babies, always taking care of babies.
Yes.
I just love holding babies.
Oh my gosh. They're just, you walk into the room and I have a little one and he kicks his feet and gets all excited when he sees me. It doesn't matter, whatever is going on with them. And it's just amazing how much they love you.
Yeah. Well, and I'm certain that the parents, just knowing that their children have that fondness for you as well, just that you've established a connection with them, and that there's an excitement, and when you care that much for their children,
yes,
they're so much more comfortable in knowing that the person that's looking over the little ones is the best person that they could have at that moment.
Got great parents. All the preschoolers call me grandma. Because one day a little boy asked me, he goes, "Are you a grandma?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." I said, "Why? Do I look like one?" Yep. So it's busy. It's very busy taking care of, we have 4 infants to 1. Our ratio is 4 to 1. So I have 4 infants at all time. So people think, oh, they're just sitting there rocking babies and da 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 da. Oh, it's chaotic.
Oh yeah,
you don't sit.
No, juggling 4 babies.
Yeah.
My vision, the one I remember when this was a couple days after you had Gabriella, you needed a haircut. And so this is my thing. I had Dominic on my hip, 2 years old, Joey around my ankle, like mad that he had to eat like regular lunch or something, at 4, and Gabby's on the counter and 2 days old and just sleeping soundly. And I'm thinking, I'm 16. This is not what I need to shift.
Exactly.
But it's that's what life is.
Yes, and you were a tremendous help to me because
it
was very stressful, as it is I feel sorry for moms nowadays because there's just so much more pressure on them.
Right. And technology. I mean, there's, don't give them too much screen time, but like, how do I get anything else done? And
not using that, and then you're staring at other moms doing so great at her.
Oh, yeah, wow. That's all fake. We know that.
Yes.
So the Insta fake stuff,
Everyone,
right?
yes.
It takes 100 pictures to get the one one. And I know that just trying to do one picture for, my photo for this, it's just, I think I took 150 pictures just for one good photo.
I remember one particular Christmas. I had Joey, Dominic, and Gabby. She was, by that time, about 5-6 months old. And I made these cute present boxes and these gingerbread things and these candy ornaments out of cellophane and made the perfect setup and couldn't get a very good picture of all 3 of them. And I just remember
just being mad because
I was trying so hard to get that one picture.
Yeah. And yes, I think I remember the red striped
the pajamas.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But now I look back and it's just comical. You know? It's
but that's like, you get so high strung and stressed out and sometimes you just don't have control. That's where that surrender, that release. And you give it all back to God or the universe and you say, hey, just take over. Show me what I'm supposed to be doing. And I think that you have finally got yourself to that point to know what you're supposed to be doing. So then that brings us to the question for you is about, what represents Kelly when it comes to music. So what would you say your anthem is? When it comes to what song boosts you up to keep you going in this point in your life?
I was thinking about that because could be numerous ones. There's 2 songs that come to mind. One is Landslide, Fleetwood Mac. And the other is Into the Mystic.
Okay.
By Van Morrison.
Okay.
And that song, I just remember I worked with a family, nannied and took care of stuff for them. And they had a yacht on Lake St. Clair. And I was out there cleaning the yacht. And I was standing on the back and just looking out at the water. And that song came on and it was blasting. And it just, for some reason, it just hit me. It just stuck with me. I don't know why, but I love that song. And I love Landslide.
Yeah.
Angelo and Gabby, we all have that song.
Landslide, I do like that song. It is because there's so much meaning in the lyrics. It's the words. And Into the Mystic, Van Morrison.
I love Van Morrison.
Yeah, I hold him dear to my heart anyway, just because I love that music, Moondance, and just everything to do with that is amazing. But so thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so thankful that you decided to come on the show and offer some insight. It did a little bit of prodding and poking. You're like, what am I going to talk about? But look at what we've talked about.
Right.
We've covered quite a bit, and I think it's a good segment for what is Kelly. What did Kelly go through, and where's Kelly right now? And Kelly's in a good spot.
Yeah, it's hard. I think it's hard to put yourself out there.
It is.
My struggles and things that happen to me, I hope and pray that could maybe help somebody else.
I think so. I think that's a good thing. So
yes.
Thank you again for joining us on this week's episode of Life Between Coasts. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to grow our community of listeners. We'd like to thank Kelly again for joining us this week.
You're welcome.
And we hope you have a great week. And until then, bye-bye.